What up, fan? Rant time. Uh, so I'm just gonna be honest. I'm just gonna keep 100 with y'all. All of the X-Men movies are garbage. And if you like them and you think they're one of the best comic book movies ever made, that makes you garbage. Well, that don't make. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. You have poor taste in movies, and you know nothing of the X-Men. Like, I get you got to do certain things. Okay, cool. You got to change story up a little bit because not everything from cartoon and comic book translates onto live action video well. I get it. That's why we have costume changes. Because if Wolverine was running around in the blue and canary yellow suit with the mask and stuff, he would have looked dumb as shit on the screen. We all know that. So I give him that. But what gets me is like, how do I put this? You have a storyboard. Most people don't know. You have a movie, you write it out. You have your little storyboard of the flow of the script and how the movie is gonna go. You have a comic book reference, which is a color, artful storyboard with dialogue. So all you got to do is expand on that as far as like scripts and stuff like that go. You are good to go. Good to go. How do you mess that up? You're probably wondering, like, okay, you just hating. You just hating. You gotta give me some examples of why is the most garbage comic book movie ever made. And I didn't say X-Men 1. I meant all of the X-Men movies. That's what I meant. Everyone. So we're gonna take it back to X-Men 1, okay? You know what? Cool. Let's take it back to X-Men 1. X-Men 1. What we got? You got Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, and to be honest, for the character, Hugh Jackman pulled it off because he was the best actor in the character that we fell in love with. But if you compare Hugh Jackman to Wolverine in the comic book cartoon series, he wasn't the best pick. But I like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. We'll go ahead on and do that. Now, Jubilee, or Rogue, as you want to call her in the movie. Anybody who watched X-Men Saturday morning cartoons knows that Rogue was a grown woman with big boobs who had a thing for Gambit, who was mad at herself because she couldn't love Gambit, so she just kind of picked on him. Oh, what? Gambit. No Gambit. Gambit wasn't in the X-Men, but we got Rogue. In the movie, Rogue is a little kid who doesn't have the white streak in her hair. She does have the power, they got that right. She can't fly, none of that. She's a little kid who gets strapped into the Statue of Liberty on some crazy invention by Magneto, who's an old ass man. Not saying he didn't pull it off, but Magneto's an old ass man, which he is not. But then she gets some lightning bolt struck, yada yada yada. Her hair turns white, and then that becomes the Rogue that we all know. Not how any of it happened in actuality. I get you want to spice it up a little bit, but any fan of a comic book, if you make a movie for people for comic books or video games, you're making it for the people who, one, made that a hit, and two, to introduce it to people who do not know about it. You can't change it. It's like we're gonna make the Lion King. We're gonna remake the Lion King, but instead of Simba, we're gonna keep the name Simba. We're gonna make it a girl, right? And it's not gonna be a lion. Okay, it's gonna be a cheetah, and they're not gonna run to Serengeti to Pride like Simba and like Mufasa did, because cheetahs don't run that. Lions do. It's not the same movie. But then we go further into it. Patrick Stewart did make an awesome Professor X. I will give him that. He just fit the part physically. You had the Wax Sabretooth, the old Magneto, the terrible version of Rogue. That was just horrible. She's in love with Iceman. That they just made that up. Iceman's a little kid. Now, if you're going with the original X-Men, before Beast was blue, when he was still a human, Iceman was part of that squad, but so is Angel. When he had feathers. It was Miss Marvel instead of Jean Grey. And those before Wolverine, but they had Cyclops. But they're all little kids in some aspect, shape, or another, except for Storm. So you got a baby Iceman who's in love with a baby Rogue, Cyclops, who's kind of one of the oldest, Storm, who's right under Professor X. She's a grown woman. Storm always was kind of a leader. I give him that. Halle Berry made a terrible Storm. I love Halle Berry. Terrible Storm. She should not have been. Nothing about Halle Berry says I'm a powerful African woman. Not African American. I'm a powerful Halle Berry. Storm's in love with T'Challa from Wakanda. If you ever watch Black Panther, look it up. So, like, Storm and T'Challa got a thing. Storm is from Africa. Halle Berry did not make a good Storm. One-liners were terrible. Then let's move to part 2. I can pick part 1 and part 4 forever. Now we're going to jump to XMen II. Does anybody even remember XMen II? Good. No, you don't. Now we're going to move to XMen III, because XMen II was just as bad as XMen 1. You know what? We'll talk about XMen 2. They go back, they land in the ice, they introduce Lady Deathstrike. Okay, cool. That was kind of dope to see Deathstrike. She almost killed Wolverine and stuff at the end. And then they introduced the Dark Phoenix. Moment of silence for the Shi'ar Empire and the entire Dark Phoenix thing and everything that happened with the Phoenix in reality. So they go to this, they say if Jean decides to save the plane, they're gonna die. Oh, I'm gonna save everybody with my magical telekinesis powers, and then she falls into the ice and everybody thinks Jean's dead, and then Phoenix. You see the little flame in the water and stuff, and it's supposed to symbolize Phoenix. And then she comes back. Phoenix risen from the ashes, and now there's a cure for mutants. Rogue goes and gets the cure. Mystique gets shot. Ends up losing her mutant abilities. Phoenix comes back, destroys Professor X, starts roasting the skin off. None of that ever happened in X-Men. Not that way. And then you got the worst Juggernaut ever with probably the most memorable, terrible line in any comic book movie. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. One more. Oh man, I wish I could put the clip up right now, but this is just a video of my cell phone filming me, and I can't do that right now. Plus, it's probably copyright infringement or something like that to actually show the video. So we're just not gonna do that. So, Kitty Pryde, like I mean, they had some of the cool stuff. They could have went so deep with it. It could have been such a great trilogy that set the precedent for comic book movies, as opposed to being one of the worst. Then they we get Wolverine with the worst rendition of Deadpool ever. It was so bad, Ryan Reynolds killed him in Deadpool as himself, killing himself. It was epic. It was a great scene. Deadpool was an amazing movie. Both of them. But yeah, the Wolverine, you have that, and then they introduce a whack Gambit in that version, but Cyclops is a little kid. Like, Cyclops is like a child in like junior high, maybe I'll give him possibly high school, but he's a kid in like junior high, and all these little kid mutants. So it's obviously before he became an X-Man, but Gambit's in it, full grown, throwing cards, doing the tricks, but he's not really anything to be any force to be reckoned with either. It was just a bad movie. And then Ryan Reynolds comes back as Deadpool, but his mouth is all stitched up. It was like a combination of Deadpool, Omega Red, and Wolverine. And they were like, you know what? We're gonna make a super mutant that no one knows. And that's exactly what they did. If anybody wonders why I keep looking away from the screen, because I'm playing a video game at the same time. I decided to have this rant because it was on my mind, and we ball out like that. But you know, it is what it is. I'm playing Overwatch. If anybody wants to know, practicing with Hanzo. So anybody who plays Overwatch, if you want to know anything good about that with Hanzo, let me know. But yeah, most definitely a terrible, terrible movie. The version of the Sentinels were terrible. They were all garbage. Bishop's gun looked like a Nerf gun. It was probably one of the worst guns ever used in a comic book movie. Terrible. I just got killed. Anyway, then we get to First Class. First Class kind of cleaned it up a little bit, but still not, because once First Class hit, Mystique became the focal front of the X-Men franchise as the savior of the X-Men. And I'm like, what version is this where you decide to make old Charles Xavier the one? You know, he's walking. This is way back in the day. But Mystique is like the number one ace in the hole, and she's the savior of the X-Men. When anybody who's ever seen X-Men knows that Mystique is the one that she's like the arch enemy of the X-Men. It's terrible how, like, it's no, horrible. But no, we got Mystique. She's the savior of the X-Men. And then we have Dark Phoenix. Yes, I skipped Logan. Logan was pretty good. I kind of almost don't even put Logan in the category, but the other X-Men movies were so bad that the poorness of the movies overshadows Logan itself. Like, just, it overshadows the goodness of how good Logan actually was. I'm in the middle of a pretty deep-seated fight here. Pretty desperate. Working on a sniper, trying to kill a sniper. It's not really working for you, boy, though. We shall see. But yeah, Logan was dope. I like Logan. What I did not like was Dark Phoenix. They introduced some aliens. Oh, look, it's aliens. No Shi'ar or anything like that, but we got aliens. Great. That's cool. That's cool. Then we got Nightcrawler, which was a cool scene, but it really took away from Nightcrawler's pacifism in the movie, because Nightcrawler is a pacifist. He hates fighting. So for him to snap and kill everybody on the train is just... Was it a train? Was it a bus? See, I don't even remember what it was. But when he just snapped, I think it was a train. But he just snapped and started killing people, and he dropped the dude. Like, that was just anti-Nightcrawler's character. I mean, like, just straight up. Magneto's the savior of the world. Beast is like, let's go. We gotta go kill Jean Grey because she killed Mystique, and he loves Mystique, which is so far from the truth that it's ridiculous. Like, why does Beast love Mystique? Why is Mystique even a factor in the movie? Because she's a bad guy. And this is all like pre-X-Men. Like, so, well, not pre-X-Men, but like Uncanny, no Wolverine, there's no Cyclops, anything like that. Like, this is pre all of that. So, I find it terrible. Just terrible. And as a person who woke up happily and excited every Saturday morning to watch that cartoon, and I even had the comic books, to watch something from my childhood that was so amazingly well put together and that we loved, ruined in such a fashion. It's just painful. It's just painful. You know what I mean? It just hurts. It's just not something that you want to do. Not a good thing. Not a good thing at all. But it is what it is. The movies are made. They are what they are. They are what they are. But yes, all of the X-Men movies are garbage. Even when Wolverine went to Japan and fought the giant robot samurai, that one was probably the best one, but it was garbage too. It still sucked.